This weekend's rally in Pennsylvania was so striking when Elon Musk was discussing why he supports Donald Trump.
The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment.
Elon, were you not watching the rest of the show?
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more f***ed up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss.
Good morning, Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Welcome to the show. That is Still Point, STIILPOINT. You can find them where all music is sold, just not Sam Goody or Tower Records. They're no longer a thing. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Jon Stewart, Comedy Central, I've been watching him for years. He's done some really good things for veterans. And overall, if you can kind of take away some of the biases, he's a funny guy. But I think he misses the point and the punchline here. We're going to go ahead and break down the video. I want you to listen to it in its entirety, and I'll go ahead and try to address points in a timely manner. Here we go.
This weekend's rally in Pennsylvania was so striking when Elon Musk was discussing why he supports Donald Trump.
The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment.
Elon, were you not watching the rest of the show? A movie Trump doesn't like is going to get sued. A tech mogul he doesn't like, he wants to put in prison. It's not free speech if only Trump's admirers get to do it without consequence. That's just not how it works. It doesn't go that way.
It's going that way now, where Democrats get to say whatever they want, censor whomever they want. But what's funny is that you notice the uprising on Twitter right now, where all of a sudden Elon Musk has created a platform where conservatives have a voice and everyone's throwing a hissy fit. It's interesting that when the foo is on the other shoot, that John has an issue.
I don't see how his support of free speech is expose the belly worthy. I just don't.
I got to give John credit. At least he's going after Elon Musk. And a lot of people would say, oh, well, he's a protected class. You can't go after him. He has Asperger's. Honestly, if you're going to step into the political fray, you're fair game. Whether it's some reporter or whether it's some Hispanic reporter or whether it's a Gold Star family, if you're going to go ahead and toss barbs or throw rocks in a glass house, you're fair game.
But at least the Constitution remains intact and is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
The Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
Guns don't protect our free speech.
Yes, it does.
Our free speech is protected by the consent of the governed laid out through the Constitution. It's not based on the threat of violence. It's based on elections, organizing, referendums, a judicial system. Our social contract offers many, many avenues to remedy these issues and allows sides to be heard and adjudicated.
That's the ideal, John. And in a perfect world, maybe it would be enough. But the consent of the governed is only meaningful when the people hold real power. And that power must include the ability to defend against the government that forgets it serves at the will of the people. Founding fathers understood that true freedom isn't maintained by institutions alone. It's not beset or beholden to the government. Those can be corrupted or co-opted. It's protected by an armed populace that serves as an absolute last resort against tyranny. The Second Amendment isn't about threatening violence. It's about making sure the people have the power to back up their rights when institutions fail them. History has shown that when the consent of the governed is ignored, having the means to resist can be the difference between living free and living under oppression.
Guns, from what I can tell, seem to mostly protect the speech of the people holding the gun. It's a tool of intimidation. And if I may finish, listen, motherfuckers, I'm not done. It is a tool of intimidation, and one that I think is actually being irresponsibly and recklessly invoked.
That's a whole bunch of opinion and a misconception. Guns don't exist to intimidate. They exist to defend. The right to bear arms means that a free person can stand up for themselves and others when faced with those who would use force to take away their rights. It's also not just a defensive weapon. It's used for sport. It's used for hunting. It's used to protect people's land and protect their cattle and 100 different other reasons. But an armed citizenry isn't about recklessly brandishing firearms at every disagreement. It's about ensuring that when bad actors, be they criminals or a tyrannical government, attempt to impose their will, there's a meaningful way to resist. Intimidation comes from having no means to defend oneself. When people are disarmed, it isn't long before their rights start to erode because those in power no longer have a reason to listen.
Because some people in your crowd thought they might have been shadow banned by Facebook. I mean, for God's sake.
All right, don't even go there, dude. Seriously, it's really easy to say that when you're sitting on a mahogany desk full with crystal, with lights up in $1 million studio speaking to millions of people. It's easy to say, oh, just get over that you're being censored or shadow banned. This is a little bit of a thorn in my side and a touchy subject that he encroached upon.
You guys are in Butler, Pennsylvania. The whole reason you're there is because some f***ing asshole with an AR-15 tried to permanently litigate his vision of this country's free speech. That's why you're there. The whole point of a society is guns don't decide it.
I agree that violence isn't the answer to political disputes. We completely agree on a topic, but focusing on the misuse of firearms in isolated instances to discredit the Second Amendment is missing the f***ing point. The right to bear arms isn't about deciding society's debates with bullets. It's about ensuring that when our system fails, when remedies the grievances that we have that are denied, when our government overreaches, citizens still have a means to protect themselves and push for change. We don't want to live in a world where our rights depend on someone else's goodwill. The founders knew that the right to bear arms ensures a society's freedom from tyranny, even if it's a last resort. That's why it's protected right after free speech.
I prefer at this moment not to trade in a government that offers me many remedies for my concerns, legitimate or illegitimate, for a situation where my rights are determined by how many militia members agree with me.
I'm not suggesting that we abandon our democratic processes or legal systems here, dude, but I'm saying that we can't rely solely on those remedies, especially when history shows us that the government doesn't always play by the rules. The right to bear arms isn't about having militias decide our rights. It's about maintaining a balance of power. It's about ensuring that no one, not one individual, no government, can arbitrarily strip away our freedoms because they know the populace has no means to push back or has the means to push back. The Second Amendment serves as a check on power, reminding those in authority that the power derives from the people and the people are not helpless. Now, we understand we can't go against F-22s and drones, but that's not the point. The bear can make a decision whether he wants to go ahead and destroy the honeycomb for the sweet honey, but he's going to get 1,000 stings in the process. And although if the bear truly wants to go in, he's going to do that. But he might think twice when 1,000 stings are also accompanied by the honey itself. I get where Jon's coming from. I'm not stupid. I'm not naive. I'm not sitting here and just going to go ahead and argue for the sake of arguing. He's a master at making a point stick with humor and wit. And those finer points you make land well for a punchline. But the issue here is deeper than a clever rebuttal. It's about understanding the fundamental reasons why the right to bear arms exists in the first place. The real danger comes when people with platforms as big as yours reduce these arguments to caricatures, casting aspersions on those who believe in self-defense as a fundamental right. You end up sidelining the real fears and concerns of millions who don't see guns as symbols of intimidation, but as necessary tools of empowerment and protection. For many, it's not about some hypothetical revolution or taking up arms over political grievances. It's about ensuring that no one, whether it's the government or bad actors, can take away their freedom without a fight. When we miss these finer points, we don't just risk oversimplifying the issue, we risk overlooking the real value and principles behind our God-given rights and natural rights that are not beholden to our fealty or lack thereof to the United States government. I want to thank Jon for encroaching upon the topic. I think it's great to have some discourse and discussion, but I have a feeling that he will continue to take these easy, low-hanging fruit topics and not really address the bigger picture, because his comment about the Constitution and simplifying it and saying that the intent of the governed is enough to put the government in check is antithetical to what the Founding Fathers believed and what everyday Americans believe. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Please come back 7 o'clock tonight. We would love to see you. Olivia, myself will be here, and we hope you have a good evening. Stay safe in Florida. We are all hoping, praying, and keeping you in our thoughts. See you soon.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.